Oh, funny guy. Okay.
Give him a shoe, though.
Yeah, that's right.
right.
The shoe,
Yeah,
the
Chris
chef's
Chef's
shoe.
That's right.
Okay, here we go.
We will bury you.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn.
Sup, America?
and Bruce McGowan.
Nice to be here.
Okay, and we have a special guest, Bill Fox, legendary photographer for the San Francisco 49ers. Bill, welcome to Sports Econ 101.
Oh, nice to be here.
Okay, so we just want to get right into it. Give us some fun, interesting stories about being a photographer for a professional football team.
Well, I want to talk about Vern's tackle with Olbrich.
Oh,
Training
jeez.
camp at what was it 2003, Vern?
2003 was the hardest I've ever been hit
What
in
you
my
got stuck?
life. A blitz pickup drill.
Oh, no.
And I'm with Garrison Hurst, and he's telling me what to do. He says, all right, dog, you gotta get low, dog. Because he talks like that. And so, the idea of the blitz pickup drill is, you're in the back, and you have to get low and pick up the blitzing linebacker to protect the quarterback. So they gave me 3 linebackers. They gave me Julian Peterson. They gave me Justin Swift, and they gave me Jeff Albrecht.
And you said, I'm going to knock them all in their can.
Damn straight.
You got
All
it.
5'3" of me.
There you go.
So I'm in full 49er garb. And then the ball snapped. I go up to get Julian Peterson. He puts his hand straight out on top of my helmet and pushes me back. I got my arms waving. I can't even.
Like
He
one of those
just
cartoon characters.
pushes me back about 20 yards and just kind of taps my helmet like, all right, little man. Next guy is Justin Swift, and his big move is the swim move, where you run up to him, but he just blows right by you. He takes his left hand, slaps it against your body, and takes his right hand and just kind of goes over you and gets to the quarterback. I didn't even touch him. And then Ulbrich is a bull rusher. So he's like, oh, come on, Glenn. Come on, Glenn. And the ball snapped. I go running up, and I didn't get low enough. Because this son of a gun just went, boom, smashed me so hard, I go straight back. My helmet, the back of my helmet, hit the ground before the rest of my body.
Ouch.
Ooh, airborne.
And
Yeah,
those guys love it when they do that. The linebackers, their mentality, they just love to hit.
Hell yeah, especially when they see a reporter coming.
Oh, yeah.
That's a free shot, baby.
Yeah,
Especially
no,
a
but
nice guy, they think, oh, he's not going to be such a nice guy when we're done with him.
Yeah, I was talking to a buddy of mine, Joe Fonzie, who works for the Fox affiliate in the Bay Area, and he said, hey man, they told Jeff, hey, don't show yourself in this locker room unless you blow him up.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Aw.
Yeah, man.
I love that expression, blow him up.
That's right.
That is a football expression, and it's now crept into the lexicon.
Where were you for that practice, Fox? How come you didn't catch that?
Yeah.
The stories are legendary.
If I'm 190 pounds, okay, I can kind of see, even then, really, if I'm like maybe 220, I could see doing that sort of thing. But how much did you weigh back then?
Yeah, probably, $1.55, something like that.
55.
Yeah,
Come
but,
on.
Soaking
but
wet.
you ran a good 40, though.
And I lived to tell about
And
it.
you're a ball
Yeah.
carrier. You weren't on that team for your blocking.
Yeah,
You're a
that's
ball
true.
carrier.
He's a modern day Buddy Young. We're
Yeah.
telling you.
No, that water bug runner.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, Bill, let's get back to you being a photographer. Okay.
I want to hear about the access you get. That's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, because you were talking about, before we got on the air, about the locker room. And you had a couple of fun stories for us.
Where do we begin?
Wherever you'd like. All we care about is making good radio.
Well, we'll make good radio. That's I think that my most intimidating story was we'll start with the bad stories first. I remember we were in New Orleans for the Super Bowl in '90, and that's it was the day before the game. They're all signing Super Bowl balls, and so I'm getting these great pictures of guys signing balls.
Is that the Broncos 55-10?
That was it.
Yeah, okay.
That was it. And so Roger Craig, I'm taking a picture, and he goes, "Hey man, that picture you got of me in New York and the coin flip, you don't know what you're doing." And and just continued to rag me. And I thought, well, this is the locker room, so he's just giving me the business and stuff. And that
Roger Craig.
oh yeah.
All right.
And then
And he was serious? Or
and
he
he,
just...
and he was serious.
Yeah.
That I got a picture of it was in Giant Stadium, a picture of the coin flip, and I thought, well, I'll do this different. Instead of 3 guys lined up, I'll do this panorama shot, and I'm have the camera on the floor of Giant Stadium. It's a beautiful New York sky and stuff. And he kind of was looking off like that. He didn't have his menacing look, and he
Oh.
busted my chops on that one.
Tell me to
But,
Photoshop it.
yeah, well, this is before Photoshop.
Oh,
this is,
yes,
this is,
yes.
this is that. But no, the 49ers that day, they were very generous. I mean, that Michael Zagaros is the first one who kind of gained access, and he opened the door, and the rest of us kind of ran in, and it could be a really intimidating environment sometimes.
Do you guys sometimes ask you, hey, Photoshop, take my picture this way or whatever? I mean, you're taking action shots mostly, aren't you?
Yeah, I think that by the time they get to the NFL, they're past that. That's
I can just imagine Jerry Rice stops,
Mhm.
does a pose,
Yeah.
take my picture, and then
Yeah.
runs off.
Well, Jerry was clean. I mean, he would always get in front of the mirror and he'd make sure that his uniform was right. I mean, that's,
Is it true? Is it true he laid his uniform out on the floor?
Oh,
and
that was Dion.
Oh, it was Deion Sanders
Dion.
that did that.
Dion would do that one. And
But
he-
Jerry had that little hanky hanging out of the back.
That's right.
It always had to be just right. I
yeah,
remember that.
The flash,
Natalie attire.
flash 80.
Yeah.
That flash 80.
Is that for
But,
flag football?
Guys would. It was funny because guys would be trying to catch him and they'd grab a hold of it, and of course it would pop out of their hand and he'd be gone.
Flash 80, by the way, his
Yeah.
license plate.
Yeah.
Flash 80.
He's got one of the biggest V's, just his back
Yeah.
to his waist.
Well, those legendary workouts. I got to ask our guest about George Seifert, because what a difference between Bill Walsh and George Seifert. Bill Walsh, and both guys very cerebral, but Bill Walsh was so intense and George was so laid back. I mean, what was he like to work with?
He was really calm. I mean, the thing I remember most about George was he had all these nervous manifestations that he couldn't step on the certain part of the logo. He'd go around the logo when he walked out for practice, and that when he came out in the field, he couldn't walk out, around. He had to walk around the flags and stuff like that. But George just never got the credit, I think, for what he did.
Oh.
He was in the shadow of Bill Walsh, and I remember in 2006 that Eddie threw this great party down Las Vegas for anybody who was involved with the team, and I was there, which shows that even the bottom barnacles on the boat got invited to this thing. And so George, when he won his championships, his Super Bowls, they didn't pick him up, and so they just walked off the field, ho hum routine Super Bowl, and. So at that dinner, everybody came up in their tuxedos and picked George up and carried George around the
That's great.
so
That's great.
He finally got his chance to have his moment in the sun, being carried off triumphantly, and nobody dumped the Gatorade on him. But
So I was going to say he's really tough to get a hold of because he's always out on some fishing expedition.
Yeah, he still hasn't called me back.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to get him to show up to some event, and he goes, well, maybe next year because I'm going to be in Alaska for 2 months, and then I'm going to Africa with my wife, and she's climbing Mount Kilimanjaro or something.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really an outdoorsy guy.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? It was funny you mentioned about George not, he had to walk around the flags, whatever. It reminds me, wasn't Willie Mays the one who he always had to step on first base coming back to the dugout?
That's right. Good. Yeah, he did. Actually, yes, he did.
Good knowledge,
Yeah,
host.
Not bad,
very
not
good.
bad, not
Yeah.
bad. So we have 45 seconds until we
Okay.
cut to our break. We're going to come back with you, of course, but give us another fun story, if you would. I mean, just getting really close. You ever had a
Yeah,
situation?
because you were there to capture the moment.
Yeah, how many times did you get whacked by out of bounds play, that sort of thing?
I was really lucky. It only happened one time in New Orleans, and it wasn't Brian Young. It was Brandon Lloyd, and he caught a touchdown and came out, and I was kind of rolling, so he hit me a glancing blow, but it looked like he wiped me out, and then he stood over me and looked down like that and walked away.
He didn't pull a Dennis Rodman and kick
No,
you,
no,
what. Okay,
no.
hey guys.
Figured you were still breathing, so you're all right.
I was okay.
Okay, stick around, Bill. We're going to cut to our first commercial break, and again, the theme is old football. This one's going to be kind of fun. All right. First trivia question: who was the first team to have an ornamentation on their helmets? First three callers.
You mean like a logo
Like a
on their
logo,
helmet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they called it
Got a
for some
good
reason
story about that one.
ornamentation. Logo is probably good. The first three callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Their website is lighthouse4fun.com. Call 888-660-4495 to answer this question. Who was the first team to have an ornamentation or logo on their helmet?
And it's not the Cleveland Browns.
No.
They
still- they
Yeah, all
right?
orange.
My point exactly.
Yeah.
That's funny. 888-660-4495. Make sure to include your name, your email address, speak slowly, spell out your email one letter at a time. Don't touch that dial because Sports Econ 101 will be right back.
Okay, can I claim it?
That's
It was
so
Fred Gerke,
Yeah, there you
player
go.
for the Los Angeles Rams, 1948.
That's right.
He painted ram horns on their leather
In
helmets.
the, I think it was in his
Actually,
garage.
it was the Cleveland Rams.
Cleveland.
Oh!
But you have the right year. That's pretty awesome.
1940.
No, it could have been Cleveland. They came in 46. They came in. They left Cleveland in 45, and then
That's
they
right.
moved to the West Coast in 46.
Yeah.
Rosenblum on them?
Oh,
Then?
No,
No,
no.
that was-
Okay, well, I do have the Rams in 40. I thought they were the
Dan
Cleveland back then.
Reeves. Dan Reeves was the
Good
owner. of
job.
that.
That's a different Dan Reeves. It's got to be different.
No,
Dan
was it?
Reeves.
Yeah, much different. He was
Yeah,
a
he's
heavyweight
a lot older.
alcoholic
Yeah.
who fired
Right.
George Allen on Christmas Day in 1968.
He
Damn.
died of cancer too. At,
Yeah.
fairly young
Yeah,
age.
so he got his.
Yeah.
Everybody gets theirs.
Yeah. He was actually a good guy. He was not a
Get
bad
let
guy.
go on Christmas
Relatively-
Day. Gee, that-
relatively speaking.
jeez.
Yeah, and it was opening Christmas, and George, there's a call for you from Mr. Reeves.
Oh,
And that's a legendary story. And
Well, they were so good, but they were always losing the big game. They'd always get to the championship game or the second round, and they'd lose.
Yeah.
And then later, they'd lose with the next coach, whoever that was. Didn't matter. Tommy Pro throws it, they'd lose.
They're still losing.
Yeah. They may leave St. Louis. There's talk about them moving to LA, although I think that's just a lot of talk.
Who was
Going back to LA.
Who was the big, gigantic coach for the Chicago Bears? He's
Oh,
always.
Abe Gibran.
Is that the one in those famous NFL films?
Yeah.
Hey, Douglas! Douglas!
Yeah.
Bruce McGowan.
Nice.
What's his
Abe-
name?
Abe Gibran.
Abe
Gibran. Yes.
Yeah.
Bill Fox.
man.
Fred Bletnikoff said that before a game, I think it was between the Raiders and the Bears, he said, hey, Coach, John Madden, he said, why don't we have you and Abe Gibran go out in midfield, we'll drop a bunch of bear claws out there, you guys can decide the game by chasing those bear claws and eating them up.
I've got a picture at home. I should have brought it in. It's a photograph of the charter team of the 49ers from the All-American Football Conference on their way to their first ever game against San Diego.
Yeah, that's right.
And
1946.
and they're standing by this
Yeah.
plane. They're all in suits.
Yeah.
And for the life of me, I would love to know the names of each one of those guys. I did grab.
Well, Buck Shaw was their
I
quarterback.
grabbed Pete. Not Pete Simon.
Dick Strinkowski.
Who's Sam.
Sam Goldberg.
Yeah.
Goldman.
Yeah, grab Sam Goldman, and he started on it, and
Yeah.
I just never.
They had to take two planes.
Maybe George
Yeah.
Devine
And,
might
and
know,
they
too.
put one quarterback in each plane
That's
in
right.
case the plane
In
crashed.
case the
They
plane
weren't
went down?
completely wiped
I
out.
think
They
Len
had a
Ashman
quarterback.
was on that team, wasn't he? He died. He was on that team for about 5 years in the late.
The first 49er team?
Well, maybe not the first one, but he was there in the late 40s, early 50s, and then he died of cancer, or he died in some accident. That's where they came.
The Len
up with
Ashman
that.
Award
Yeah,
came from?
Yeah.
Well, this is the 1947 team, and on the picture it says charter team, whatever charter.
I've got a copy of a great game of 50 somewhere. A rookie named John Brody replaces Wyatt Tittle, gets knocked out of the game.
Yeah,
And
I saw that game.
And they beat the
1957.
beat the line.
December 9th.
Yeah.
Tittle got hurt with a minute to play.
Yeah.
Brody hadn't played at all, and
Yeah.
he gets in there, and
Throws a touchdown.
McElhaney told him, just throw the ball to me, I'll get open. And so he got in open by pushing off Milt Davis in the corner
Yeah.
of the end zone.
There you go.
Which they didn't call because they had 60,000 drunks in Kezar who were going to storm the field, and so
Right.
they didn't throw the flag.
Well, Lon Simmons was doing the color for that game. That was his first year.
Yeah, I've heard
And
that.
Bob
I've heard that
Faust
broadcast,
was
yeah.
doing the play-by-play.
Wow.
It's in the Bay Area. If
Yeah.
you go to the Bay Area Radio
Yeah.
Hall of Fame, you can.
Red
Listen
Dog
to it.
Faust. The
Yeah.
Red Dog is on.
I wonder if a
That-
young
the
George
term not
Seifert
used
was working
anymore.
that game as an usher.
He might have been.
Yeah.
I would probably would think
He
so.
would have been a senior in high school. That
Yeah,
was
he
his
probably
Yeah, he
senior
might
year
have
in
been
high
working that
Yeah,
game.
because his high school was right
Yeah.
across
Poly,
the street.
yeah.
Poly, yeah.
school. And that's he graduated class of '58.
Anything we want to cover specifically?
I'm open for anything I can throw.
Anything you guys want to talk specifically about Bill with photography before we get into?
I'd love to
the
just
other
ask him
stuff?
about personalities and some of the interesting, like
Yeah.
Jack
Okay.
Reynolds, for instance.
Okay, I'll
I got to ask you about Jack
Yeah,
Reynolds.
like your favorite
Yeah,
character.
I'll lead right into
Okay.
it.
Oh God, let me think now. Who was my favorite character?
Yeah. Jack Reynolds used to show up. Didn't he show up to the
Yeah.
In
meals
full
in his
uniform,
full
to
uniform?
breakfast.
Yeah, he came.
Really?
His
Yeah.
last season was my first year, so I never really knew him very
Yeah.
well.
But he made an impression, though, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, scared the out of me, and I just stayed away from him. And that's,
He was kind of a rough
That's why they
character.
call him a hacksaw.
Yeah. Well, you know the story behind that, right?
No.
Yeah.
In college, he literally cut a car in half with a hacksaw. Took him about.
They lost to Tennessee.
Yeah.
No,
He
they
got
lost
so
to
pissed.
Alabama.
Yeah.
And he was so
Grabbed a
pissed.
hacksaw. Went to it was like a car dump, right? Some old car. And
It wasn't a dump. I think it was one of his junkers or somebody's junker.
How long did it take?
Yeah, I think it took off and on a couple of days, but he just
Yeah,
kind of went back, and it was a big deal. Yeah, that's how he got the nickname.
hacksaw rental.
Football
Hacksaw Rental.
fiend.
He'd be fun to track down.
Oh,
'Cause he's
yeah.
probably in his mid-60s now. Yeah, he'd be about that age. Yeah, he retired when he was about 37, so that would have been 1980.
Yeah, no, 84 was his last season.
Yeah, 84.
That's, he
Yeah,
had
yeah.
one series in the Super Bowl in '84, and then he never got back on the field again because
Yeah.
Marino was throwing. And they went to a passing defense.
Great player with the Rams.
Oh,
Boy,
yeah.
he was an All-Pro
Yeah,
for like
I
4 or 5 years.
Mhm.
You know, we could talk. We'll just talk big now. Rice. I get some Rice stories.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Like
Good.
that. I mean,
Okay, I'll lead into Bruce.
I
and
just
we'll
had
go-
a
Okay, you guys
curious-
ready?
yeah.
Because I got a whole bunch of other fun stuff to go over, which sometimes I can carry over to the next week, sometimes you can't. Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn,
Affleck.
Bruce McGowan,
Hello.
and we are in the studio here with our special guest, Bill Fox, legendary photographer for the 49ers. But let's go to our commercial break question that we asked, the trivia question. Who was the first team to have an ornamentation or logo on their helmets? Bill, you surprised me. You knew the answer to this.
Oh, do I get the prize?
Yeah, go ahead, tell us what the answer is.
Oh, it was Fred Durkee, who was a player for the Rams, painted ram horns on the side of the Los Angeles Rams helmets in 1947?
1948. You had it correct. Bruce, you wanted to ask a question.
Well, I was just curious. You know, you started covering the Niners the first year they won the Super Bowl in 1981, and Jack Hacksaw Reynolds was on that team. He's been a great veteran with the Rams, but he was kind of a larger-than-life, intimidating character. I heard the story that he actually showed up to the eating room, you know, before the game where they'd have their meal, pregame meal, dressed in a full uniform with a helmet on. Is that a true story?
Yeah, he was ready to play.
I'll say.
Yes.
That's about as ready to play as you can get.
Did he eat his meal through a straw?
That
I mean,
set the tone for the day, and that you better show up ready to play.
Did you ever talk to him though at all?
No, he scared me.
Mr. Reynolds, we have eggs, we have bacon, and I'll let
There was a-
quarterback.
There was another great linebacker, Ken Norton.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
who
Sure,
was kind
Ken
of the
Norton
same
Jr.
man, and that Michael Zagaris is the other photographer, and Z-Man was photographing Norton in the locker room, and Norton was, had this prickly personality, and so he turns to Z and he goes, Z-Man, how'd you like to have that camera be an enema?
Yeah.
And so that was another one you stayed away from.
That's like when he said, he goes, I'll have a quarterback on rye. Go
Mhm.
ahead. Bernie, what is
Who was approachable among the guys? I mean, the ones that just here, have a seat, and let's spin yarn, let's solve the work. Who was the smartest guy on the team?
Oh, I thought Steve Young was pretty smart. I mean, he was, he was a calm guy. He's very approachable. I mean, he's the only guy who ever paid me for a picture. That's
No kidding.
Really. And the picture wasn't of him. It was of Bill Musgrave, who was a third string quarterback, and he got into the game. This is '91, and so I got a couple pictures of him. And Steve Young ordered the pictures, and I got a check from Steve Young.
Well, why did he want a picture of Musgrave?
I guess to build team harmony, and that's I don't know. I
You know,
never asked him.
That doesn't
But
surprise me.
I took the check and I did cash it after I photographed it.
Of course, there you go.
Damn straight.
I love those teams in the 80s, though. You had Randy Cross and Dwight Clark and Keena Turner and Dwight Hicks and Ronnie Lott, and they were all there for the, almost the entire decade. That is, you don't see that anymore, which is really a shame.
Oh yeah, I mean, legendary guys.
Yeah.
I mean, DC was a great guy. I mean, he was just an ordinary guy from Kingston, South Carolina, and this is my favorite story. I mean, back again to that deal in Las Vegas, the party and stuff. And so my wife and I arrive, and we're walking across the casino, and all of a sudden, hey, Bill, and here comes Dwight Clark running across the casino, and I hadn't seen him, and hey, what's doing, DC? And so, hey, we're gonna have a great time. Yeah, great. And so he walks away, and my wife looks at me. He knows you. And it was like,
I mean, what do you think I've been doing for the last so many years?
That's exactly what I said
Yeah.
on that, Edward. And,
Yeah.
and so that he was good. He was a great guy.
What was Ronnie Lott like?
Very intense. I think he kept everybody focused. Nothing was ever good enough.
That was before he lost his pinky. Remember that?
Yeah.
He had an
That,
infection, and he decided to just cut it off.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
it
it
was
wasn't
Well, no, he got mangled in a game.
Yeah, it was
yeah,
injured.
Yeah.
but he actually had it amputated.
Well,
Yeah.
he did because he couldn't play if he
Yeah.
didn't have it amputated.
Yeah.
He wanted to play.
You imagine, just cut it off.
He cut it off, yeah. So he was intense, huh?
Well, I think he was a guy who really set the standard. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like that's not good enough, fellas. I mean, we
Yeah.
won by 40 today. I mean, we sucked.
Yeah. Well, you see, it's like on the mirror. It only shows what you did wrong.
Yeah.
Right. That's why what he concentrated on.
I just
Is it
remember-
true he was the only one that could kind of essentially control Charles Haley, who was just off
Oh,
the
that's
deep end all
right,
the
yeah.
time?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't there that day, so I can't stay.
Okay.
But I know the story was down in L.A. and that Charles got a little upset with Steve Young that day, and I better not comment because I wasn't first person on that. But whatever story you heard, Vern, is probably
Well,
true.
I mean, there was an incident later when Charles Haley was playing for the Dallas Cowboys, and he was having a meltdown. Cowboys were playing the 49ers. There was a meltdown in the Cowboys locker room, and Ronnie had to come into the visitors' locker room to calm him
I
down.
think it actually
Yeah.
was that Raider game
Yeah, no,
because
that was
Ronnie,
it. Yeah.
Ronnie
Oh, was it a Raider game? Yeah, okay.
Ronnie was
Yeah.
with the Raiders.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
with the Raiders, and they actually had to bring him
Yeah.
over from the Raider locker room. It was after he left the Niners. An
Wow.
amazing story. And I guess that kind of was the beginning of the end for Charles Haley. Then he urinated on Carmen Policy's car,
Yeah.
which wasn't a very popular
No.
thing to do.
And with that note, can we move on to the next thing?
Okay.
All right. Okay, of course we have to talk about Miami Dolphins Richie Incognito, which, by the way, is a good name for him because he better stay incognito.
Is that really? I'm just obviously.
He
we know
may
it's
not, he
his
may
name.
not play in the National Football League again.
No, you know something? I was saying this earlier. He will because he was an All-Pro, and they're going to make him the poster boy for people to stop bullying. And if he's smart, he'll fess up and he'll save his
Maybe
career.
But this is
Apology.
beyond bullying. I mean, this
Oh, yeah.
was
Oh,
just
yeah.
Intimidation.
flat out
It
harassment.
was,
I mean,
it was ridiculous. Yeah, you're right. It was absolutely
Well, but
absurd.
here's a couple.
I'm
things.
gonna hit your mom and GD and the
And
the use of the
N-word.
N-word.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was ridiculous.
the N-word ending in ER, not an AH.
Well, he's
That,
a
you
punk.
know.
He's a punk.
Yeah.
And we've learned that his dad told him when he was being bullied as a kid because he was an overweight kid, don't ever let anybody do this to you. Well, obviously he didn't learn his lesson.
Well, now that we talked
Because
about
he's doing
that
it to other
before-
people.
Yeah, it's one thing to say I'm not going to let anybody hassle me like that, but doesn't mean you inflict it upon others.
Yeah.
So here's a couple things I was thinking about that. This poor guy Martin, right, who
Left the team.
Jonathan
Right?
Martin
Yeah.
from Stanford.
So
by
now
the way.
think about it
Smart
for a
guy.
minute. Okay, so from his perspective, how easy is it? How is he going to be perceived amongst either back at the Miami Dolphins or if he gets maybe traded or something? Are some of the other players going to look at this guy as like a squealer, or a wimp or something? You know what I mean?
Well,
it's not
it's- it-
fair.
it-
Well, this all came out after
Yeah.
he left the team.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he
But-
said, "Hey, I'm out of here."
But an interesting sidelight to this is that a lot of players from elite universities, like such as Stanford or Harvard, there was a player from Harvard who recently came out with it. There was a story about it, who was being harassed in a similar fashion because they're perceived as rich, spoiled kids who go to privileged universities, and that's just not true. I mean, Jonathan Martin he's a very deep-thinking, smart young man, but he's also a heck of a football player. He was, one of the best linemen ever to play at Stanford. So.
Well, so the thing that just kind of one of the things that really frustrated me when I was kind of looking in this a little deeper, they're talking about recently a young player was handed a tab for $30,000. The reason I'm bringing this up is because Martin, he didn't go on that Vegas trip, but they said, oh, by the way, hey, you're going to pay your $15,000 fair share, right? So think about this. Our young player was handed a tab for $30,000 for the team dinner. So basically, the rookies are supposed to pay for the elders, so to speak, right?
Been going on for years.
But the rookie minimum is $400,000. That's 7.5% of his gross pay.
Mhm.
I mean that, for the average guy, let's say making, $100,000, right?
Yeah, but was that rookie making the minimum? Usually they pick on the rookies that are, they got the big bonus money because they know they can afford it.
You know what? That's a very good question. I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, if a guy,
Usually
makes,
usually they take out, like Eric Reed of the 49ers. I mean, he's the highest, paid rookie. Usually they get that guy is the one that gets tabbed, and the veterans go, "Oh, come on, kid, we're going out," and then right at the end of dinner they get up and leave and go, "Okay, it's on you," because they know he can afford it, but they normally don't pick on the guy who's making the minimum.
Yeah, what's sad about this whole thing though is,
Fair enough.
20 years ago,
Make him
The
sing
guy-
the
the guys
make
are
him sing the team fight song and
Yeah.
maybe a team meeting or something.
Okay, 20 years ago, the guys were making good money, but they weren't making this absurd kind of money
yeah.
they're making today in pro sports, and I think that skews everything.
Well,
And it creates
I
a
saw
monster, too.
on a plane on a charter one time a rookie tackle turn over his game check in a poker game. And
Wow.
And he kind of laughed about it, and he just thought that was part of my acceptance into the club. And that, I mean, it is the angry man rules the room in that business, and that it is survival of the fittest. And
Yeah, but what about camaraderie, though? I mean,
Well, there's camaraderie. I mean, you go to war with these guys, literally. I mean, look at, you mentioned Ronnie Lott giving up his finger. And we were talking off here about Nnamdi Asomugha, one of the smartest, nicest guys who's probably not going to come back. He was cut by the 49ers.
Mhm.
But he's 32 years old. That's over the hill for a lot of players. So, but he was out there and he gave it his all. And, I mean, that's part of the game. You just have to. I think that brings people together, don't you, Bill? Because of the fact that they bleed together, they win together, they lose together. But it's football is just so much more visceral.
well, it is survival of the fittest, and I think that in answer to your question, how he's going to be perceived, I don't think he's going to be perceived really well. I mean, we're sitting here with kind of enlightened, sensibilities, but those things don't apply in the National Football League. And that, I mean, everything comes down to the situation where you're playing in the Superdome or up in Seattle, and you got a 3rd and 7 from your own 2-yard line, and you got to get out of the end zone, and the crowd's going berserk, and you got to suck it up and block this guy and get the drive, and that's what it comes down to. And are you mentally tough enough to be able to stand up and hold up?
Well, this guy Martin, like you said, he didn't think on anybody. It just kind of came out sort of afterward. Because
It's been going on for a year, though.
Yeah,
Over a year.
That's just ridiculous.
Because he's a second-year player.
Okay, guys, we're going to cut to our second commercial break here. Again, the theme is old football. Let's see if we can get you on this one, Bill. Good, you got me on the last one. The first, let's see here. In what city was the first indoor game? Again, we're talking old football. The first 3 callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Call 888-660-4495 to answer this question. In what city was the first indoor game? Again, call 888. Ooh, silence among the crowd.
I know this
You
one.
want the answer? I got the answer. I got the answer.
No,
You can't blurt it out yet.
Don't say it
Okay,
yet. Call 888-660-4495. Make sure to include your name, email address. Speak slowly. Spell out your email 1 letter at a time. And I will not hand over my paycheck to you if you get this, okay? Don't touch that tile because Sports Econ 101 will be right back with Bill, the awesome trivia question answer man.
Chicago, isn't it?
Chicago Stadium, 1933.
For the
God!
championship.
Oh, that's too
1932!
That was too easy. That was too easy.
Because there was a blizzard.
There was a blizzard. And they moved it into
And they
Chicago
played in a
Stadium.
shortened field, too.
Shortened
Yeah.
field.
I had thought the Houston Astrodome, but
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I would
that's
thought.
yeah. I mean, in the modern era, you'd be right on that one. In the modern era,
Okay, what's my favorite color?
you're black.
No.
You're a black guy.
Even though I'm wearing it.
Black guy.
Is black an actual color?
Or is it the absence
Is
of all
white an
the-
actual color? I don't know. I always thought it had to be somewhere in between the spectrum. Red, blue, green. What color is this? Is this like lime green, day glow green? What do they call that?
I would call that lime
That's
green.
GoDaddy green.
GoDaddy
That is
green.
GoDaddy green.
And Bert's
Is
got a
there
red.
actually
He's got
a
a
GoDaddy
49ers
green
with a
color?
red.
Oh.
Right.
They probably do have it.
Yeah, I'm a big
Cardinal
race
red.
fan, and
Oh,
when
yeah.
you see one of their cars, you can see it
Oh, yeah.
a mile away. That's a great color.
Well, I bet you there'd be a lot fewer accidents if people had this color or
Sure.
yellow. The yellow, for instance, all the emergency vehicles, one of the reasons is they're easier to spot.
Yeah.
I had a yellow Fiat once, and I never had a problem. I never got even close to being smacked. Good-looking car, though.
Well,
Jeez, my next
are we
question's
right?
too easy. Yeah.
Are we right?
What,
Well, I'm going to choke. I'm going to choke on the trifecta. I know I'm going to
no,
choke.
no,
on the
no.
trifecta.
Yeah.
The next question's even easier.
Oh.
Jeez. Even these guys know.
he's-
Thank you.
He's setting it up. I'm going
No,
to choke.
usually I have a couple of hard ones and one fairly easy one, but boy, tell me on this one. Okay.
It's like Stump the Schwab.
Yeah, Bill obviously is an NFL history buff, because that's a little known. You
Yeah,
have to be
yeah,
into
yeah.
history to know that one. I'm just
Yeah.
one
Well,
of
that's
these
You
people.
do it
a
too.
needless
Well,
waste of brain cells.
Yeah,
remembering all
believe me,
this
I remember
all
this
this.
information.
Exactly, it's fun, but it's
Well, last week when Vern was here and we had Mike Zalin from Next Door because he knows baseball, the question was, who was the first pitcher to play in all 7 games in the World Series.
First pitcher to play on that boy.
And he knew, and he was
knew.
there. He was
Well,
at that game.
Well, I gave him a hint though. 1973.
Oh, he would have been a. He would have.
Been an A's.
He's good in Oakland A's.
Oakland A's.
Relief pitcher. I forget his name though.
Knowles.
Rollins?
Nope.
Or,
Darryl Knowles.
Darryl Knowles. Oh, yeah. The
He
middle
knew
reliever.
that.
That's
You're
good.
gaining
but
ground on us now. You're gaining position.
It's embarrassing when I can't get you guys. Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn,
Yo.
Bruce McGowan,
Yes, sir.
and we got Bill Fox here, the trivia expert. Of course, we have him here because he's a 49er, a previous 49er.
I've redefined my career.
I know.
Job
You should, as Vern says, stump the Schwami here. Because you got this one too. Here was the second commercial trivia question break question. There we go. Let's see here. In what city was the first indoor football game?
Chicago Stadium,
That is correct. What was the year?
1933 championship game.
And who was the quarterback?
Sid Luckman.
I was thinking. I don't know. I was thinking Bobby. Come on, what's Bobby?
Bobby
Douglas?
Lane?
Oh, no, he
no,
was
no,
too
no,
young.
yeah,
Bobby
no,
Lane?
no, no.
Bobby Lane?
Bobby Lane.
Oh, no,
Too
too
young.
young.
You know what?
Too
No,
young.
That's
I would
Bobby Lane
have,
was
I'll
in the
have to
Bobby Lane, that
look
was
back.
Detroit Lions.
Yeah,
Sid
he was in
Luckman,
the
though.
50s.
Now that I
Sid
remember,
Luckman.
the pioneer of the T.
Yeah.
But was he for the Chicago Bears?
Yes.
Okay.
He was.
Oh, I'm thinking of Sammy Baugh for the.
The Washington Redskins.
Clark
Sandy
Shaughnessy
Bob.
drew up all the plays for George Hallis.
Okay, we're gonna have to look. We're gonna have to look this
Okay.
one up. Okay. Moving on here. Continue on with football though. Apparently, and someone I heard this third hand or second hand, whatever. Dan Marino and Shannon Sharp said that they would rather get hit in the head than in their knees. Did you hear that?
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me because when you get bumped in the head, I mean, you can get up sometimes and continue playing. When you get smacked in the knees, you tear your cartilage and you're done for the year.
Yeah. So they're not worried about concussions. They're worried about the end of their career.
That's right.
He just got his bell rung. It's okay. You know, I just got a stinger.
Remember the old day? Remember the old smelling sauce? You know,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Be a man.
Well, I told you my father-in-law played at a time when they had the helmets without the masks. Imagine all the stuff that used to go on.
Oh my
Was
God.
it Bob Sinclair?
No, it was Y.A. Tittle was the guy that had the first mask because, and I think Bill would know this, because he had a broken jaw.
1953.
Yeah, that's right.
But Bob Sinclair used to. He talked about getting his teeth knocked out.
Oh, yeah.
'cause
Yeah, he got hit, knocked out a bunch of teeth,
Yeah.
and he's looking around for his teeth, and they're like, "Come on, Bob, get in the huddle. We want to call timeout."
Yeah. He's not too happy about that. Can you imagine that? You know, look down in the grass for your teeth. That's a true story, too.
Come on, guys, please, can you call a timeout?
Yeah.
No, get back in the
Get in the
huddle.
huddle, man. Come on.
Yeah. Some guy from the Rams kicked him in the mouth, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it wasn't it the punter?
I'm not
'Cause
sure.
he-
I think he blocked the punt. Yeah, he did, and I think that's how.
Damn.
It
Ball.
yeah,
Wow.
maybe Bill would know. Yeah.
Way to sacrifice your body for the team.
What's the social security number? Okay. I mean, you're just so good.
You
at
got
all
me.
this
You got
stuff.
me. You got me.
You got me
You
on that.
I
Okay.
surrender.
I knew we'd get you on something. Okay, some anonymous NBA general manager admits to wanting to tank the 2013-14 season.
It sounds like the Philadelphia 76ers because I was watching a game with the Warriors the other night, and they looked awful. I mean, they're not a very good team to begin with, but they started the season off 3-0, so I was thinking maybe they're actually pretty good.
Mhm.
But I guess they're going to play with a bunch of guys this year that they're going to get rid of, and they're trying to get the number. The fans are thinking, let's get the number 1 pick.
And let's get Dr. J back.
Yeah.
He can still play probably.
He's too busy doing Crown Royal commercials.
Oh gosh, Dr. J.
Love that guy. I still remember under the basket. He must have had a huge hand.
Well,
He got the ball.
I loved watching him and Rick Barry go 1-on-1. That was those guys together against each other. Dr. J against Rick Barry.
But I mean, so. What do you think about that? You know, I mean, obviously that's the reason to tank it, so you get the number 1 pick. But actually, you don't actually get the number 1 pick, but you get an extra couple of balls.
You get more lottery balls in the hopper, so your susceptibility to getting the number 1 pick is high if you tank it. And more so than not, you almost always get, hey man, this is Special K is here.
Special K.
Yeah, it's Karen.
Oh my gosh, sure, from KNBR.
From KNBR.
Because I'm wondering, I'm going, okay, who is this person? Unfortunately, I had the door open a little bit. Can you hold on for just a second there? Okay, because we're kind of on the air, but that's okay.
Oh, Karen knows. She's radio savvy.
She's radio? Okay,
Yeah.
we're going to have her share a mic here. Okay, the NBA Finals scheduling changes. The first since 1985. They're returning to the 2-2-1-1-1 hike format.
That's fair.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's
Except for travel.
and you got to
It's
figure
coast to coast.
it's coast to coast.
Well, if it is coast to coast.
It's the
Well,
finals.
usually-
The players
Yeah.
don't care. It's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, you make it that far.
That's true.
Players
But
don't
you're
care.
on a plane, though. I mean, I don't know how these guys do it. Do they take sleeping pills?
Believe me, they're on.
Oh,
they're
dude.
very comfortable.
Have you seen these
Yeah.
planes? These planes are tricked
Yeah.
out,
Actually,
Edward.
I did
Yeah.
get I was fortunate one time to go first class on a 777.
Yeah.
It was the only time I was having so much fun. I didn't want the plane to land. Other than that, I want to get off the airplane.
I mean,
go
you
on
got
my
you
vacation.
got fewer rows. You got leg room. I mean, I'm telling you.
Go
I
with
mean,
the
it's
Warriors sometime. I went on a couple of Warrior trips in the late '90s because I had to do some stuff with KNBR, and it was unbelievable. I thought it was nice traveling with the Giants, the Warriors. My God.
Well, yeah.
Speaking of the Warriors, my God, well, what a
Great.
cash cow!
Yeah.
Not only do they have 14,000 season tickets sold, there's a waiting list now
Yeah.
for season
And
tickets.
they want to move to San Francisco? Why?
Well, I mean,
Why?
well, come on, Goober and Leah, they didn't buy that team to keep them in Oakland, huh?
But they're not going to build that thing.
How
Not until 2019
how
at
about-
the earliest.
It'll get
How
done.
about earlier this week, Curry getting a triple-double in the third quarter. Not bad, huh?
You know how Iguodala gets 32 against his old team. I love it.
Well, that's what happens when you don't have 11 turnovers in a game.
Yeah,
You know?
that's true.
So going back to this thing about the NBA Finals, they were talking about doing the way it is now. It's a 2-3-2 series, right? And they said it's difficult for the better teams in terms of record to spend 8 days on the road away from home. But okay, well they were talking about that in baseball too. I think that you have the better record, right? So you get the 2, and you have to go away for 3. And they're thinking, that may not be such an advantage because those 3 games away. I don't know.
If you lose one of your first home games, then you're
Then
in
you-
trouble.
yeah, then
You
you're
gotta
at
win
a
those first
disadvantage.
two. Yeah.
Puts more pressure on you.
Look at the
Well, look,
Red Sox.
The Red Sox were down 2-1, and they came back and won 3 in a row. So
Yeah.
that was quite a series.
Yeah, I'd say Ortiz earned his paycheck.
Yeah.
That's right.
Experience wins every time. Well, not every time, most of the time.
Boston strong.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, have you guys ever heard, change the subject here, you ever heard of Jamie Sadlowski?
Can't say
Okay,
that.
so this guy, get this, on his knees can hit a golf ball 328 yards.
What?
How tall is he?
Was he a
He's
midget?
not- No. If he's a midget and he's on his knees, he's like a snake on the
I'm just saying,
ground.
he's not on his knees, though. He's-
No, he gets on his knees, and if you watch the YouTube video, he gets on his knees, and he just, I don't know, it's something to do physics. Apparently, he hits it better.
Oh, he's
on
got
his
the
knees.
gift. That's the
Yeah,
gift.
that is
Yeah.
a gift.
Everybody has a gift. He's
Wow.
got that one.
I've heard of talented people doing things from their knees, but hitting a golf ball over 300 yards?
I'm not going to touch that one.
Yeah. And neither did they. Anyway.
Oh, God. This is a family-rated program, Vernon. Come on.
That's right. So let's see here. Okay, what else are we going to talk about? Okay, the total makeover for the Brooklyn Nets. Holy smokes! You see, I mean, we got Jason.
They're going to
Kidd
take
in
over
there,
New York. I mean, look at the team they put together. They've got some good players, and Jason Kidd
Pierce
made.
and Garnett.
Yeah, I like their owner. I mean, their owner's a character. He's determined to take over that market. And Brooklyn, hasn't had a pro sports franchise since the Dodgers left. So it's great.
Which is why they're gonna. I mean, they're the NBA and the networks. They're gonna get them on TV as much as possible.
Yeah, that's great. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful to have a team in Brooklyn instead of Manhattan. Why not? I mean, they already have a team in Manhattan. They have the next play at Madison Square Garden.
Well, apparently Garnett wasn't. He wasn't interested. It took a lot of pressure and Paul Pierce to finally get him to.
And some money.
Yeah, which is
Can't
always
forget about the money.
yeah.
Can't forget about the money.
Don't forget about the money.
Yeah, because none of them are gonna have a problem eating.
Yeah, that's
You know?
true. That's true.
I know. What is it? I mean, he's already got one ring, right? So. Was it
Give him another one.
ring?
I don't think they're going to be in the finals.
So apparently he doesn't like change. That's why he didn't want to.
Oh, Kevin Garnett does
Yeah.
not like change.
Yeah, I mean he went from the Timberwolves
Right,
to the
to
the
Celtics,
Celtics.
probably to win
Well.
the championship.
Yeah.
But other than that, he's like, no, I just want to stay there. He's happy.
He's a good guy too. Have you ever dealt with him? Because I remember when I was a
Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, when I was at KNBR, I had a couple of instances of sitting down with him. Nice guy. He kind of likes to tease a little bit. But,
2000 Sydney
yeah.
Olympics. He's on the Olympic team.
Uh-huh.
and I'm with NBC at that point. So I'm in Sydney for the month.
Nice.
So we go and follow the team, and you got some media access after a practice. And so, hey, KG, come on over. So he comes on over, and we're like, man, what is it like just being on a roll, just shredding teams? The way he goes, well, it's like a piece of cake with sprinkles on them. And then then you get a win, then you get more sprinkles, and you just more and more sprinkles. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Who makes sprinkles, by the way?
Yeah, ask KG.
That sounds like one of those breakfast foods that you have with the yeah. No, he's a I like him. I think he's a good guy. And you know he was, how old is he? He's about 35 now, isn't he?
God, is he that old?
He's been in the league.
He's
for
another
18
one that came straight out of high school.
Yeah, he's been in the league. Well, Jermaine O'Neal plays for the Warriors. Has been in the league for 17 years now. 17 years. And he's only 35 years old.
And if you listen to him, he says he's nothing without the headband.
Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, if you take the headband off, it's like kryptonite.
Yeah.
Well, he can't play.
But Kobe Bryant.
Ask him, he'll admit it.
It's because the hair gets in his eyes. Oh, that's right, he's bald.
That's right.
I was going to say Kobe Bryant, who will come back and play. I don't think he'll be the same player after the Achilles tendon injury. But he's been in the league for, 17, 18 years?
Well, he was 18 when he came.
That's
in.
incredible.
Yeah, these guys.
Wow.
That's amazing. What do you think about Jason Kidd coaching? One of these guys coming, being a player and then turning into a coach.
Well, I'm showing my age on Kidd because I've been covering him since high school.
Since the
Yeah.
old days.
First time I remember anything, I think he was a sophomore at Alameda, St. Joseph's Alameda, playing for Frank Laporte, and then he goes on to Cal. In fact, he was before he could even drive. Guys like
You're not talking about driving to the basket either.
no, yeah, I'm talking about the car. The other guys from Oakland. Help me out, Bruce.
You're talking about
John Kemp?
No.
You're talking about Dontrell or Jimmy Rollins or some of the baseball
Gary
players?
No, I'm talking about Gary Payton.
Gary Payton. Okay.
Gary
I'm sorry,
Payton, a bunch of those guys, they would actually drive and go and pick him up
Is that right?
and then take him to the park for
Yeah.
pickup games, and they just play all day.
He was
was
part
just
of
so
a
good.
new breed, I thought, that really came along in the mid-'90s, the Chris Webber kind of people who sort of are larger than life and commanded so much money. And unfortunately, he changed Cal basketball for the good and the bad. The good was that they went to the tournament. The bad was that he pretty much orchestrated Luke Campanelli's departure and brought in Todd Bozeman, which was not a good thing, even though they did go to the playoffs.
Well, under Bozeman, they made it to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, but of course in the first, they did that one year, but the next couple of years they got beaten by bad teams in the first round, which and he turned out to be not a good guy at all. So
Well,
Todd Bozeman.
he ended up in Baltimore, and
Yeah.
he resurrected the Morgan State program and got them to the NCAA tournament. So
Well, I think I just never, and I dealt with him a lot. I just never, there was something wrong with him. I don't know what it was. He just struck me as kind of a creepy individual. But that's just me.
Okay, you guys ready? We're going to cut to our third and final commercial break. Okay, now, this isn't a sports one. This is for Bill. Okay, now we know that on the Titanic, 1,519 people died. Your question is, name them. I'm sorry, I got to do that.
Well, you got him thinking. Yeah, he looked up in the ceiling. Well, let's see. It was the Guggenheims, and then
Isidore Strauss.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, that's good enough for me. All right, this one's an easy one for you guys. Again, old-time football. Actually, this isn't old-time, though. Which team is America's only community-owned NFL franchise?
Oh, please.
sorry.
God, don't insult me. Oh, my God. Gee.
Okay.
Is Brett Favre's restaurant still there?
Yeah.
Oh, gee.
Okay. Who was the galloping ghost?
That's
Okay, I'm sorry. We have to have one throwaway easy one here.
Red Grange. For those
Yeah, of course, Red Grange.
University of Illinois, 1925.
That's right.
Great story about Red Grange at the Super Bowl. This is many years ago. He shows up and did interviews, and he was still sharp as ever. This is like,
Really?
35 years
Okay.
ago. Yeah.
Okay, for all you people who don't know the answer to this one, which team is America's
All three of you.
NFL franchise? Call 888-660-4495. Again, which team is America's only community-owned NFL franchise? Don't touch that dial because when Sports Econ 101 comes back, I don't know. We'll figure something out.
Who knows what's going to happen? Karen, what's up, girl?
I was going to the bank and I said, let me come by here because you told me to come see you. So.
Yeah.
Hi, Dee.
I'm glad I had the door.
I saw the recording.
Otherwise, it would be.
Hi, Brucey.
Karen, longtime mainstay at KBR.
Yeah,
In fact,
okay.
she was so good they
16 years.
put her on the air, especially when Gary was on.
Yeah.
and she had the shit. Her radio handle was Special K,
Yeah, Karen.
and she had an infectious laugh.
I still have.
Oh
You
yeah.
still have it?
Karen, you and I have something in common. We both got shipped out. I think the same. Might have been.
I think you were before me.
Well, were you around when Cumulus showed up? Because
Yeah.
the day before Cumulus showed up and bought the station, Deep Six
Yeah.
made 14 other people. So
Do
you
you
hung
use
in
all
there.
of those
That's
games?
like a
That's
KGO
right.
Look at that.
Yeah, now they're bought by.
I use
the
these.
KGO.
Yeah, I use all these things.
That could be a weapon. Put them in between your.
So how are you, Bruce?
I'm not doing too badly. I got that
Good.
8-year-old. I'm chasing her around. You know.
You still with the same wife?
Oh yeah, it's been,
Good for
19,
you.
19 years now. Yeah.
Good
I got him
Bruce.
beat.
Work
Yeah.
it.
I got him beat.
24.
Wow.
You got married when you were just a young
Man.
How about Bill here? How long has he been married?
I've been married so long.
43.
Oh my God.
43.
Wow.
43 years in marriage?
19,
Damn.
You were just like, what were you? How old were you when you got married?
Baby.
20?
As a baby.
Baby.
First girl I ever met.
Oh, that's sweet.
Wow.
Oh, you'll do. Right.
That's because he went to an all-boys school, and as soon as he got out, that's the one for
How about
me.
you, special? Anybody special in your life?
I got married and divorced 2.5
Oh.
Well,
You
years
got
ago.
married though. That
But
was-
no.
you
was
found
a
out it
nightmare.
wasn't for you though.
It was no.
Yeah, you
Domestic violence, no.
Yeah.
But after
Oh.
that, I'm back with the one before I got married.
Good.
Wait,
There
domestic
you go.
violence?
4
Did
years.
you say domestic violence?
Yeah.
Is he okay now?
It's who?
Oh.
Look, don't let me get you.
Don't get us started, man.
Oh.
Yeah, but I'm with somebody. I've been with three, almost 4 years.
Oh, good. That's good. That's
Very,
what happened to you.
very
That's right, because you were there because I went back, actually interviewed, believe it or not, 07 for a sales job there. I was that desperate to get
I remember.
back at KNBR.
You
I
had
don't
the
know what-
suit on and everything.
Oh,
I didn't know
yeah.
who you were.
I've never seen you in a suit.
Oh yeah, no, it's not becoming on me. But my wife thinks it is.
There you
So
go.
I was out with my.
So
this is the
listen,
way
I
I'm
just
dressed
came by here
today
to say
'cause I was
hi.
walking my dog
I'm
out.
glad you
And then I
did,
had some
girl.
questions I want to ask you, like voiceover stuff.
Okay.
So,
I can put you through.
do you have a number?
Yeah. Here's the
Or can I
person.
give you mine or whatever?
Here's the person who. Let's see here. Where is she?
Oh, yeah, we have just 2 minutes left.
Great. Yeah, I parked
So
my
you do
car
this
over
every
by the front
Tuesday or every day?
Every Tuesday, I have these.
What time?
3 o'clock.
Okay. And you just talk sports and that's it?
Sports and business, the economics and sports. Try to get the economics in here.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
That's good.
Now, how many stations? You were telling me the other day it was.
I know we're on we're international show. So we're
Oh,
on
okay.
the third one, like 30 or something.
That's
But then we
great.
also
And you're just by yourself with these people?
for this. I also do 2 other radio shows that are
Oh,
business,
cool.
KNEW and
Okay.
Fox News. I think
What's your
Fox
name?
News. It's Edward Brown.
Okay.
Never heard of me.
Edward, I was going to talk to you, Edward, because afterwards I need to talk to you. I'm serious about this. I want to get
Who are
a veteran
you?
person to do our taxes. Because
Okay.
we have somebody out in the valley who's great, but it's just
Sarah
if
Barrick.
you're interested.
Sarah Barrick.
Yeah,
She's the
let
one.
me take a look. Let me
Sarah
first take a
Barrick,
look at
she's
it.
awesome.
It's real.
I mean, to
Uh,
take,
Believe me, I'm not making much
not
money.
voice
My wife
tracks and
thinks
stuff,
it's
so you
fun.
don't know all that.
No. She's
Is your wife okay with that? Because there was.
Oh,
she did stuff at Voice Tracks, but
Oh, really? Okay.
And I said,
Where does
since
she
I know
live?
you and
She
work
lives,
here and you're legitimate, you're
she
solid.
lives in Stinson
Why
Beach
not?
now.
Oh.
I'll
I
take a look
think
at
she's in
it.
Stinson Beach. You see that or Mill Valley?
Where does
That
she
might
teach?
work. Yeah, it's
Well,
pretty
anyway,
simple.
I'll call her.
We got-
Yeah, Sarah Barrick
Yeah, we got-
voiceover on.
Yeah, we got some assets that we gotta do. Oh, what happened? Oh,
Did I
it's
do
okay.
that?
That's okay. Don't worry about it. Just leave
It wasn't moving. So
Yeah,
I said,
415,
here, I'll put it up.
342 1488,
Okay,
And
wait,
then-
let me get her
You can
name.
tell I
Sarah.
dropped it.
and then
Oh,
Barrick,
water
like
cooler.
Army barracks.
Okay.
Those are
And then
durable though. All you need is
looks like she's got a website,
I know. That's
sarahbarrick.com,
Okay, let me
and
just
then
have
she,
the
and
phone.
she's got an email,
415.
342
How old was
1488, and just
Oh, this
say,
is
hey man, hey,
hey,
get
But
your
I
number
also do
Vern.
like voice tracks and all that.
Yeah, but she'll-
the year after the Raiders.
she's good people, man. She'll point you in the right direction for sure.
And he showed up
So,
for
do
some
you ever
50 years,
guys have
30 years,
fun
something.
up
I
there?
don't know where it
Somebody
was,
come and
but,
get on the air and
he was available, and
Oh, the show?
there were very few people who could talk to him. I thought, man, this is Red Ridge. I sat down and did an interview with him from my little TV
Okay.
station that I was
No,
with.
Let me give you my
What
phone
was
number
his
because I'm
number?
having a birthday party and I want you in your.
Hold on.
Okay.
I know you got this.
Since I haven't felt
Come on, Edward. I know you can pull this one
Uh,
out.
Probably,
It's in the
probably like
20s,
90
right?
million.
571.
Wasn't it a real high number?
7606. It's either going to be 5th or 6th.
6.
Yeah, it's starting to come out.
So you're here just
George
about
Hallis had a great story.
Every Tuesday I'm here.
Scored
I'll be here
2 or
next
3 touchdowns.
Tuesday, and then
this way.
That's it?
I mean, he was amazing.
Okay, what was
Seven,
Sammy?
yeah.
Sammy Bond
Okay.
number?
Yep.
That's easy.
So I can just, I'll either bring this invitation, call you, or whatever.
Okay.
December 5th or
That's a
6th, you
good
guys are
question.
here?
You got me.
I think it was 33.
December
33, yes.
Thursday and Friday.
If
First
I'm
of
not
next
mistaken,
month.
Didn't he have like a 90
First of
yard
next month.
He was the greatest punter in the history of the league. I think he still is. That,
90
we're
yards,
here.
he had
Yeah,
one.
we're
well, I don't think he had that, but he had the highest
There's one-
average. It was like 46 yards.
Thanksgiving
something like
week.
Yeah.
Is a week
Great
I'm,
interview.
is
too.
a week
What
I'm not
Oh,
here.
was it?
Okay, that's when my birthday is. I'm not giving it. So I'm doing it the week after that.
Okay.
At the Phoenix and Central. But I'll let you know which day.
Okay.
Okay, bye. It's a pleasure meeting you
All right,
guys.
girl.
Okay.
Where are you living these days?
She's a Terra
I'm
man.
Marin, baby.
Are you closer to Kaiser? Or are you closer to that water?
I'm
park?
closer to the mall.
What's your
Okay, got you.
Brazil.
Oh, okay.
My in-laws live in terrible death. They live, you know where Scotty's Market is?
Yeah,
They live
that's.
back in that
pretty
area
far,
up there.
yeah.
Yeah. They've been there for a
Yeah,
while.
everybody lives
And my
there.
wife is from Terre She went to high school there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So do you go out, Bruce, or anything?
Do I go out?
Because I'm having a birthday party. So you
know,
probably don't
I
go. You don't look
have a
like you go
kid.
out.
We're sort of like
Anchored.
Are you having another baby?
no. My wife, actually, about 4 or 5 years ago, she would like it. She's 43 now, so
Wow, I remember when she was.
she's
Yeah.
just a baby. Yeah, I know. I married her when she was a
Bruce,
baby.
work it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like when I met my wife,
I met her when
she had
was
just turned
24 and I was 43.
Wow, that's cool.
So, you know,
It's just a number,
it's just
There
a
you
number.
go.
definitely.
I
That's
know.
right.
Now I'm
Yeah,
61
but
and she's 40.
but
She's the
under
same age I
18,
was
it's a
when I
different
met
kind of
her.
number.
That's a special number.
It is. I was walking around like this for
Yeah,
a
that's
long
5
time.
to 10 behind bars. Yeah.
That's it.
Wow. Okay, love you
Yeah.
guys. See
Good
you.
seeing you, Spesh.
I'll talk to you.
All right,
Okay.
girl.
Bye.
Bye.
Spesh was always, it was great because she'd walk into KNBR and she was always had a smile on her face, always had a fun thing to say. Yeah,
You know what's funny? Every once in a while, like Marco, this
Yeah.
is Marco here, he owns rental property where sometimes tenants come in, they're just come and just drop off rent and stuff. And I didn't know who she was.
Oh, right.
I was thinking, and she had something in her hand. So I'm thinking, okay, just go ahead and leave it there.
Yeah, I saw her and I go, is that special? I thought that was special.
God, yeah, I knew. You know, I saw her a couple of weeks ago. She was work in this building. She does work in this building, and we were just talking. We were just chatting in the parking lot, and I said, "Yeah, I'm here every Tuesday." She goes, "Oh, I'll just drop in." I go, "All right, cool."
He said she
dropped
works,
in.
she works in the building?
Somewhere here in the building.
What does she do besides?
She's a receptionist for one of these companies here.
She's got great people skills.
She's awesome. She's
really.
she's awesome.
So she's not doing radio anymore?
No.
I think she always wanted to kind of. She was one of those people who wanted to get into it, and she had some talent. But it's hard, you know, to just suddenly say, "I'm going to be a radio person at the age of whatever."
Mm-hmm.
Some people can do it. It's hard, you know. You have to. I think you just say it's like anything, like what you're doing, or football, or what Vernon does. You know, you have to have a gift.
She it sounds like a fart.
Excuse me.
It's funny, I don't see her in the building, so she probably works on
Your shit
the
doesn't stink
ground
for her, I can
floor.
tell you that.
Cruise Boat.
Maybe.
She works for like Cruise Boat
I was
or
always
something,
wondering
or-
what happened to her. Because like I remember, that's right. After I left KNBR, she was there a couple of years, and then
Wow.
Cumulus just got rid of so many people. That's the irony. Now I'm working for Cumulus again, only with a different radio station. So weird.
Last 2 minutes. Anything you guys want to specifically cover? Because we have our thoughts for the day.
Yeah,
and we
can't even tell one more 49er
Okay.
story.
got one more?
Yeah.
Sure.
Basically, we
I'll
give
give
you
you Jerry Rice holding my hand during
There you
the
go.
Lord's Prayer.
Okay, there you
like
go.
That.
Like that.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn. Hey! And Bruce McGowan.
Hello there.
Okay. And when we got to the third and final commercial break, we asked this trivia question. Again, this was an easy one, so we gave Bill the hard one. And during commercial break, we asked him about the Titanic, and he named all 1,519. I think the last guy was Zombrowski. He went through the A through Z. Okay. Which team is America's only community-owned NFL franchise? Go ahead, Bill.
The Green Bay Packers.
That is correct. Okay. We have one more quick minute. Tell us a quick story about you and holding hands with Jerry Rice.
Yes, that's one of my favorite stories about feeling all men are created equal. No, they're not. That's when you come in off the field after a game that you drop and they'd have the Lord's Prayer. And this one particular game, I always hung out at the periphery of the huddle. And this one game, I dropped down and I reached out, and this massive hand enveloped mine. And I thought I had large hands, and Jerry Rice's hands actually covered mine, and he could take his fingers and went over the top
Really?
of
He's
mine.
got that big hands.
Well, he caught bricks for a living before he joined the NFL, and that so it
True
was
story.
It was almost the unfair advantage. I mean, his hands are so massive.
Wow.
But,
Okay, that's one of the reasons he had very good hands. Okay.
Yeah, his dad was a mason, right?
Yeah.
And dealt with bricks all the time.
he'd
And
throw
would
the bricks up to
throw
him,
bricks
and
into Jerry and have Jerry catching
Have the gift.
bricks.
He had the gift.
Bill Fox, legendary 49er photographer, thank you very much for joining
you.
us.
Thank you, guys.
Once again,
Appreciate it.
thank
Enjoyed
my
being here
co-hosts,
today.
Vern Glenn and Bruce McGowan. Here's our thoughts for the day. Lou Brock said, "Show me a guy who's afraid to look bad, and I'll show you a guy you can beat every time." That was interesting. And Vince Lombardi said, "Winning isn't everything, but wanting to win is." Thought that was good too. Tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and giving away free vacations for answering sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long. Good. That's a wrap, guys.
Okay, where's the pay window for my gifts?
All right.